Look at that. We are live. We're going to do kind of a quick one. Quick little broadcast today. You know? We'll do something quick. So we got this beautiful little guitar in. Now, I'm going to be real quiet about the next life of this guitar because, you know, it's the holiday season and there's a lot of guitars getting that are going to be Christmas gifts this year, which I'm really happy about. And it's fun for me to get to make them right for those who will receive them. And as I always say, I don't care if you paid $40 for a guitar or $40,000 for a guitar. If you're going to give a child a guitar, it needs to be set up right so that they'll keep playing. You don't want them to be real difficult. So having made that statement, take a look at this beautiful murder weapon. All right? No, I joke. Now, if you were 7 years old and were given this instrument, wouldn't that just about be the coolest thing in the world? There was a movie called A Christmas Story, where the kid wanted a BB gun really bad. And God forbid anybody give a 7-year-old a BB gun in this day and age, right? But so this youngster is going to get an HSH. It's like a 3/4 size electric guitar, little guy. Let's see. So it's got a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 position switch in it that I'm gonna have to glue the knob on there because it's coming off. It's real loose, so we'll make that all tight. But here's one of the things that I'm having to like muscle this thing, this whammy bar. We'll talk about a little bit more of the work that I did on this instrument. Haven't intonated or anything like that yet, but we want it to be right. But here's the kicker. All right, so the good old whammy bar, right? We need to have these things working properly, right? For a youngster, and you know, you got to have the springs, you know, set to the right tension so you don't have to like be an animal to move it. Check out what has been done with the construction of this guitar. The ground wire is soldered to the screw that would allow an owner to adjust the whammy bar to work properly. Now, here is my guess. I'm guessing that this is probably made out of pot metal and it may not be able to be soldered to. So I'm firing up my soldering iron. I'm going to let that warm up a little bit here. And I'm going to try and see if I can solder to this this plate here so that we can adjust the whammy bar for this youngster. Make sure it works properly for him, because again, he's 7 years old and he's getting a guitar, and I would much rather see him spending his time playing a guitar than playing a video game, right? The man who is getting this for his son is someone who I personally have played one gig with in my life. He's played in many bands in our community, and really nice guy, lovely wife, very kind people. They work very hard, and he asked us to find him a cool looking guitar for his son, so we did that. And now we ordered this one. I don't even know where it came from. I didn't have anything to do with ordering it, but we wanted it set up properly for him, because that's just how we roll here at this little teeny shop that we run and conduct business out of. So I want this to be proper. And we're going to do a little bit of work on this, I'm hoping. If I cannot solder this to this, I'll show you what I'll do. I think this is pot metal, and so I just don't think I'm going to be able to solder to it. So we'll give it a few minutes here. Not a few minutes, just a little bit longer, and my soldering iron will be hot enough, I think, to attempt to solder this. But I'm going to pull this wire off of here regardless of what happens. But I'm guessing that this is pot metal and probably can't be soldered to. And there's a solve for that. Believe it or not, There's a way to fix that. So we're going to do that. And normally wouldn't have to do something like this, like on a Fender or something. This instrument was made in Korea, which that's fine and dandy. All right, so we got the wire off of there. Now I'm going to attempt to solder. I'm saying solder as if I'm in Canada, right? My Canadian friends will love that, probably. Let's see if I can solder to this. We'll try. I get prime my soldering iron. Woohoo! Yeah, it looks like it will stick. Looks like I can solder to this. Can I? Gotta get it good and hot. Okay, so I'm getting some solder to stick to that. So we're going to solder the ground where it should go. All right. So now it'll be grounded properly and can be adjusted properly. I'm going to strip a little bit more of this wire just so that I have enough here that I can get a good connection. Oftentimes when you're doing soldering, you want to make a good mechanical connection. All right. In this case, I won't be able to do that because well, there's nothing to really mechanically attach it to. I could probably poke it through that little hole in there, but this will definitely be good enough. I'm going to give myself a little more wire here. Hopefully you can see what I'm doing. I'll strip that wire. And now I need to tin this piece of wire. I can't wait for this youngster to get this guitar. He's going to love this. Now the thing is, the wire needs to go everywhere where you don't want it to go. That's how wires go. So here, I've got it sitting in a spot where I can actually solder to it. Nope, it's going to go onto the paint. So here's what we'll do. We'll grab this and we'll hold on to that wire. Let me turn this around. Alright. Let's stay put. Okay, there we go. Now, you know, because that's just how wires work. If you're going to solder something, the wire will go everywhere you don't want it to go. Alright. That's rule number 1 of soldering. Okay. If am I annoying you by saying solder, I'm not sorry. Howdy. Watch Mr. Carlson's lab. Good. What can we do for you today? All right. Mr. Carlson is one of the best electronics techs on YouTube. He's amazing. Get a nice solder joint. Okay, so now we've solved that. Okay, now we have solved that. So now we can loosen these screws a bit. All right. So be careful when you buy one of these. If you want to adjust it, you got to make sure that's not a problem. All right. The problem is that these things are screwed in so tightly that the whammy bar, these springs are so taut that you know, the bar was really hard to move, and I want the youngster to be able to use that thing like it was designed to be used. There we go. So I'm definitely loosening them up. Now I'm going to do something I generally like to do on guitars, and that is I want the springs to go in a straight line. There isn't a rule on this, or this is more of my personal preference than it is any kind of a thing that you have to do. There we go. So now we got a straight line here. Alright. Ooh, that's a little bit warm. Okay. And then pull this one loose. And you got to be careful when you're pulling these springs, because if you slip, you could scratch the paint on an instrument pretty badly. And in fact, you scratch it back here. So there. Now our whammy bar is just like I like it. This is how I set mine up on my own guitars. And I don't want this youngster to have to do anything different than I do. And now let's look at the bar here and let's see how it feels. Still pretty tight. Now, I've done a bunch of other work to this instrument. Let's take a look at the nut up here. It's plastic nut. We're not going to change that. But the string action here at the first fret was about 50 to 70 thousandths of an inch. I now have it at about 13 thousandths, 13 thousandths, 13 thousandths, and then 16, 16, 16. And let's check our tuning. So I've loosened those screws enough in the back that now we're pulling making the bar float like Leo Fender intended. All right. This is a very much a Fender inspired whammy. Okay, so now we've got this thing set up nicely. And also, I'm looking at some stuff here on the fingerboard where they glued the inlay markers in, and there's glue in places where it just doesn't look nice. And again, this guitar was not. It was a very inexpensive instrument, but you know, we're a very small shop, and we can't have anybody saying anything bad about us at all. So gonna get rid of this stuff. It's almost like there's, oh yeah, that's definitely super glue, CA glue. There we go. Let me get all that off of there. All right, now we already got strings on this thing, right? And it appears that this wood is probably, I don't know, walnut maybe. No, it's not walnut. Definitely not walnut. Kind of an interesting wood grain on this, but again, why would you take this kind of time to make a Christmas gift special? Well, because you're only 7 once on Christmas. Been there and done it, and some of the most memorable moments of my life were when my child was 7 years old, and of course when I was 7 years old. I got a BB gun for Christmas on my 7th birthday, and I became a very safe and a very good shot. So that was fun. I got my first guitar when I was 10 for my 10th birthday. I got my very own acoustic guitar. Now I know that doesn't look real pretty right yet, but we'll make that. We'll remedy that.
Are you free to talk to somebody on the phone, Mr. Turner?
I sure can.
All right, just 1 minute. I'll get him the phone to him here.
Give me just a moment here. I'll be right with him. Okay.
It's open.
Hi, this is Marshall. Hi. Okay. Yeah, indeed. Okay. loves that. Oh, I'm glad. Zager guitars. Okay, I'm not terribly familiar with them. Uh-huh. Okay. Sure.
Yeah, Student Auxiliary Music. We got that replacement for that Sony receiver. It's sitting in the room here and
Okay.
ready to go. So come down, pick it up. Thank you very much. Bye bye.
Okay. Sure. Okay. 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 Sure. Okay. Yep. Yep. Okay. Yep. Yep. Hmm. Yes. Taylor does that. I've watched. Oh yeah, I've had to do that on many guitars. And typically, what I do if I've got one that's really dry, because our environment here in Northeast Oregon is just super dry. You can dry your laundry out when it's 9 degrees, and I ain't kidding. It'll be dry in a couple hours. But yes, what I typically do was put the guitar in the case, and I take a glass, an actual glass of water. I don't use a rag. I don't like to do that because it can put too much moisture in one area. Take a glass of water, literally, and set it inside the sound hole of the guitar. You can pull the strings off or just loosen them, whatever you need to do. Set it in there, close the guitar case, and let it sit there for 5 days, 6 days. And you'll be shocked when you open that thing up how much water is missing out of that glass, if not all of it. Uh, okay. Yeah. Yeah. Uh-huh. Right. Well, yeah, and I'll tell you this. If you're having fret buzz, um, uh-huh. Right. Right. Okay, and and that is so common what you just described. I've seen that on 150 different guitars. So you're not experiencing anything different than most than what I see it's a very common occurrence. If I say 150, that's a very conservative number. Um, Now, something that also can be done is to put a taller saddle in the instrument, meaning the string action is just simply too low. And they may have made a mistake when they built it, and it might have worked at their factory, but and I prefer to do that over the whole rehydration system because that doesn't ever. I mean, I won't say it doesn't ever solve it, but it's very, 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 very rare. Okay. Yep. 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 So given what you've just told me, what I would do if you brought it into me was I'd buy a new saddle and put a new taller saddle in there and set the saddle up properly. But the other thing that you want to be absolutely certain of is that your neck relief, meaning the truss rod adjustment, is correct. And you have to have some neck relief in that thing. And there are specific measurements that I use using feeler gauges to set my neck relief proper on any guitar, as long as it has a truss rod. So, you've got to make sure that that's right. And by using feeler gauges like you gap spark plugs with, the little thin, grab one of those that's 12 thousandths and use it as a feeler gauge. You don't want it, you put a capo on the first fret, and this is industry top secret information I'm sharing with you because I don't think you can get the guitar to me. Put a capo at the first fret, right? Then where the neck meets the body, the fret right there where the neck meets the body, fret the guitar right there. The neck is not, you're not going to bend the neck beyond that point at all. But it will bend between the first fret and where your last fret where it meets the body. Out in the middle, 7th fret, 6th fret, 5th fret, that's where you use your feeler gauge. And you can do it on both the treble E string and the bass E string. And just see what that neck's doing. And you want to have a minimum of 12,000, at least 12,000. Yeah. Okay. Oh, you're not that far out. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Let's do that. If you. Yeah. Yeah. Sure. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I appreciate that. Yeah. If you haven't done that much, it's best to let somebody who's done it a few times, because you're not going to break anything, but Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Sure. Yeah, that's fine. All right. Well, congratulations. Bring it. I'm here Monday through Friday. You can bring it in at any time and drop them off. But I obviously I want to be here when you bring them because you're bringing 2 of them. But yeah. What's your? Okay, just so you know, Wednesdays I'm off at 2 p.m. So I'm not here after 2 p.m. on Wednesdays. And every day of the week I take a lunch between 2 and 3 o'clock. And just so you know, I'm a type 1 diabetic, and I have to be very diligent and disciplined about that. So I've got it. I mean, it's going to keep me alive until I'm a nice old man. And so there we go. So yeah, so now you know, my friend. Okay, bring it in. Yep, perfect. Sounds good. You too. Thanks for calling. Alrighty, see you soon. Bye. All right. Woohoo! More work. I love it. All right, that was fun. Phone conversations. Okay, so we've gotten the nut taken care of. We've gotten these little disruptive glue spots off of there. Look this neck over. We've got really good string action here. So here we go. We're going to do a little trick. Here's my trick for oiling a fingerboard after it's already got, because this thing is dry as a bone. It just looks kind of nasty. Or it doesn't look real healthy, I should say. It doesn't look nasty. But I'd like to take care of this. So here's how we do this. I'll bring you over here so you can see me do this. Now, if you own your own guitar and are interested in doing this sort of stuff, this is how you do it. And I'm giving all of my trade secrets away to everybody in the world. Alright. And I'm going to put just a couple of lines. Oops, I got way too much on there. Oh boy, I'm going to make a mess on this one. Doggone it. Just put a couple stripes. That's like 50 times too much linseed oil for this guitar. However, put the towel underneath the fingerboard, and now I'm able to push down on the paper towel and get the oil all coated into the fingerboard. Ooh, look at that! I pushed too hard and tore it. Bummer. I'm not too worried about getting any oil on the strings. I can wipe that off, right? But if you want to oil your fingerboard and you already got strings on it, this is a great way to do it. It's not as easy as doing it without the strings on it, but you know, I don't want to pull strings off of a guitar if I don't have to. The things are brand new, right? Okay, so here we go. We got that. Getting her close. Getting her oiled. Now I'm going to have oil on the pickup and all that stuff, so we'll take care of that. But there's probably a faster way to do this. Just loosen the strings all up and pull them off of there. Right? Now, go through the strings, wipe the excess oil off of here, and look at that fingerboard. Doesn't that look better? And the little places where the glue was on the fingerboard are now invisible. It's just, you know, they're building these at a mile a minute, and 10,000 of them a day, whatever. They don't take the time to do this sort of stuff. It's a really inexpensive guitar, but again, this is going to go to a youngster, and I want this youngster to keep playing it and not give up because it was terrible to play or it looked bad or anything like that. We're going to do it all for this young man and a very good friend of mine. I'm very excited. His son is a really sweet kid. There we go. I know you can't see what I'm doing up here, but I'm just getting the oil off the fingerboard, the excess oil. There we go. Look at that. Isn't that pretty? So if you got strings on your guitar and you need to oil it, that's how you do it. Or you buy a new guitar and it just looks like the fingerboard's real wet, or real dry, I should say. Just do that. Pretty easy. A little more time consuming than like loosening the strings and pulling them off the side. You can use a popsicle stick to get the strings out of your way. You know, a popsicle stick's one of the best tools ever for working on guitars. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. All right. Now we got a guitar. Now it's starting to turn out like a guitar. All right, so we got the ground wire fit. That whammy bar feels a whole lot better, although I am going to loosen it a little bit more. I'm going to make another small adjustment to this. Here we go. So we're going to loosen this. I'm going to go 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. When you're adjusting your whammy bar, this is a good rule to follow. Now let's see what's happening with our tuning. You kind of got to go back and forth and flip the guitar. This one's a really small guitar. It's kind of strange. Flip it over. Alright, there's that. I'm going to call that good. That feels a whole lot better. Now, let's adjust the pickup height. Yeah, and this guitar is going to a 7-year-old youngster. 7-year-old kid's going to get this guitar. I'm really excited. His dad is a really phenomenal bass player. That's his instrument of choice. And you know, if this was my kid getting this guitar, or a friend's kid getting this guitar, I want it to be right. So when the kid plugs this thing in, this thing's gonna rock. Okay. So the pickup heights are they're very wrong. So we'll get this solved. This is a pretty quick adjustment on doing this. Ooh, that one's pretty darn close, but that one was pretty darn close. There we go. And it's a little bit high. I'm hoping this will go down. And it did. That's good. Let's bring that back up just a hair. Stu, how you doing, man?
Getting freight done here real quick. Trying to anyway.
There we go. Way too close.
Take care of a lot of phone calls, things.
Boy, yeah. I got the whole life story here this morning. My nice guy though. He bought a Zager.
You know, it's been familiar, so like one of them internet things.
Yeah. I don't remember ever seeing a Zager guitar come in. I don't think I've ever worked on one before. I don't know. Have you ever worked on one?
No, I don't think so.
I don't know how long they've been around.
I think it's one of those things where the guy buys them, and then he reworks them, and then he sells them as his.
Well, the story, they're a manufacturing company out of someplace, Montana maybe, or but he apparently was a famous pop star, or somewhat famous pop star back in the 70s maybe. You know, we'll see what that thing looks like. I don't know when it'll be in, but we got one that's got fret buzz.
Yeah.
Classic.
That's about right.
Yeah. Okay. Bummer. Do that next. Okay, so also on this guitar, I'm noticing there's a little crack in the fingerboard wood. Not a whole lot I can do about that. If I start addressing that, I'm going to open up a can of worms that I don't want to do. Okay, so we've gotten, let's see, and I checked the neck relief. It seems like the neck relief on this was pretty darn good. Let's do that again. We'll show you how I do the neck relief on an instrument. I just explained to a gentleman how to do that over the phone. Oh, it's perfect. Pretty close to perfect. Now, string height. Yeah, and I think I already did this yesterday. In fact, I did, because the string action on this was just stupid high. Oh, yeah. Okay. Looking good. So let's plug this little thing in and see what she sounds like. Give me a second here. Get my stuff plugged in. Oh boy, boost is on. We got some overdrive. Okay, and let me plug this into the. Wait, that goes into the guitar. Okay, I got to get my wiring correct here. Here we go. See what the output jack feels like. Nice and tight. That's good. How's everybody doing? Hey Kevin, what's happening? Charlie, hello. Good morning. Let's plug this into the amp. Ooh boy. Oh, we got sound. Single coil. Yeah, it's making noise. Let's see what happens here. Yeah, and this is probably, I don't know, pretty inexpensive guitar, but look at this thing. Isn't that cool? If you were 7, wouldn't that just be the godsend? The greatest thing since asteroids. Making all kinds of racket here, right? You gotta let this thing settle in. Most importantly, I want this thing to stay in tune for this youngster. Yep, knob. You notice the knob just fell off of there. I'll put a new one on there. So,
my God. What are the prices on these?
Let me see if I can get Stu to come help you with that. Give me a moment.
Okay.
I'll see if I can. He'll be right over you guys. Give me just a moment.
All right.
Okay.
Look.
So what kind of stereo are you looking for?
So, it's for my daughter's truck. I think she just wants a stereo price range of like 150. So we just kind of want to get.
Just a deck for
Yeah, just a deck, and she has a double din.
So
it's a
it has
bigger
an
one.
aftermarket in there now?
No, it's all.
What
it's
brand
all,
of vehicle is it?
It's a GMC Canyon 2012.
2012 Canyon? Yeah, it takes a special interface, but I can do a bypass harness, which is a lot more work, a lot less money for the part.
Yeah.
It has steering wheel controls. Just control the stereo. You'll lose those because that alone $170.
Yeah. She's just looking for something better than what's in there.
Well, she has no Bluetooth and it stinks.
Yeah. So this is her.
Yep, that's the one. Yep, no switch power, nothing. It takes a special piece, and you'll lose your door dingers and all that stuff too.
I don't think,
without paying a lot more money.
right, I don't think she'd really care about that, but,
What you're gonna want is, she probably don't care about a disc player as much as she does Bluetooth.
Bluetooth, yeah,
Yeah.
just Bluetooth.
That would be the best bet, but that's a lot more money than what we're talking here.
Yeah, I think she just wants a, one with the little cubby, the second
This
dedicated
is a
cubby.
standard deck and a bigger
Yeah.
pocket.
Yeah,
It's gonna be a little more than what you're saying, but not a lot. Let me see here. You have to have the dash kit, because the parts alone, you're gonna look at about $35 in parts to put it in. With the, the kit with the pocket underneath,
Mhm.
to do a standard deck like that. And these are great decks. Let me see, I also have the JVC, might be a couple nickels less. You wanna hand me that JVC and I'll look it up on my, so these are all A stock decks, so. Then we'll have to schedule it and get her going on that. Let me look it up.
yeah, she should be here anytime.
Alright.
She takes her lunch at noon, so, but she's had lunch today.
Perfect. Alright. Hey, I'll be right with you, buddy.
I'm looking for Chris anyway.
Yeah, he's not here quite yet, I don't think. Is this something we're putting in, or you guys putting it in?
Is it if you buy it, you guys install it?
Well, we have to charge you something, a little bit of something. I can give you a better price, cash carry price. And then if you decide you want to have me do it, I can do it later. Just trying to work around Christmas time scheduling,
Yeah,
holidays,
for
so.
sure.
Yeah, the parts we're gonna, on that one actually I'm looking it up, it takes special wiring, no matter what you do, so. But putting it in as the parts, I can figure that out and we'll get you going here.
Is it the a new wiring, new wires?
Well, you
Like,
gotta
it's
have a
down
wiring harness hooked in there, you can't cut the wiring. You have
No,
to plug it
yeah.
into the factory wiring.
Right.
But on that vehicle, you have no switch power. It's a Canyon, you said?
Yeah.
So when you get in there and turn the key on, the deck won't come on, because it's controlled by a computer. So you have to switch power from somewhere.
Where are my
So it's one of
springs?
those things, that's why, a lot of people take it on themselves and they just do, a bunch of internet searching and figure it out, but usually they have us do it in the end.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been installing these for $200 is the thing. And I know that's probably a little out of your price, what you were thinking about, but. Is this gonna be a present you're wrapping up?
No,
for?
she's coming. She wants to get it, but she doesn't know much about stereo, so.
Yeah, we'll have to figure out something to get her going here. I'll have to round the parts up. I think I have the parts for that rig in stock. You said what year models again?
2012.
2012
GMC.
Colorado?
GMC Canyon.
Canyon. It's a Canyon. Okay, yeah, the Colorado's worse. Canyon, let me look it up. You went out
There we go. Oh.
That's what him.
Somebody getting a new stereo for Christmas?
My daughter's buying one for herself for Christmas.
Oh, cool. Good. Cool.
All right. It's not good news.
What's that?
I think it has to have an interface to protect it. And then we need to look at it because it might be a Bose system, and if it is, then I'll know immediately. So she's bringing the rig with her.
Yeah, she's bringing them.
Perfect. So all I need to do is stick my head in the door, and I'll tell you in about 20 seconds.
All right, yeah, as soon as she gets here, we'll do that.
Is your there's her main complaint no Bluetooth?
Not that I know. I think she has it so, like, her phone can hook up to the vehicle, but it's only like the hands-free stuff. It's not.
I think she's using the cigarette lighter, like.
That's
radio.
what I was gonna,
I know. I
suggest.
think her truck actually has where it talks to it because
Oh,
she can never find the station for that jumper because it doesn't show the station on it when you. It's just like 2 plugins and it has the. But you can't really.
Oh, the one of those modulators that doesn't tell you the channel.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
them
one of the
stink.
cheap ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, they stink. Truly stink.
But I know she talks.
Yeah, we'll
Yeah.
have to hook up the deal here. We'll just take a quick peek in the rig real quick, and then we'll pay
Forgive me for being so quiet for the last few minutes. We've had some customers here, and it's kind of odd to have somebody standing here talking to themselves, right? So forgive me for being a little bit more quiet. Welcome to the show, my friend. Thank you for stopping in. So I want to do a little bit of jamming on this thing to see how she holds up. Let's see. Whoops. Let me play something correct. them tuned pretty good. So I think this is going to be a good little Christmas gift for some young man. Really cool to get this guitar in, and we got it yesterday and played a little bit. You know, the one good thing about this guitar that I didn't really have to mess with was the fretwork. Believe it or not, it does not have cheese grater frets, what I like to call them, which is usually on a good instrument like this the biggest problem that they have. So boy, oh good grief, 1600 in Canadian. Okay, quest for a new guitar, and you know, in that I'm not. Let's see. So, and forgive me. I'm working. Hey Preston, what's up, man? I'm trying to think. You know, off the top of my head, for a guitar in the $1,600 range, and the one that you bought was a 150th anniversary. Let me look at that guitar for you, because it sounds like you got a little money laying around and are looking to get into a new guitar. Not that you've asked for my advice on anything. Crestwood. It's a Crestwood. There it is. I'm 150th anniversary. Oh wow. Okay. Let me. Very interesting guitar. And I wonder. That one has a Bigsby. Had a Bigsby on it, I'm guessing, or something like an Epiphone style Bigsby. Let me look at this one. Good Lord, that's beautiful. Come on. There's one. Well, I'm seeing them. Oh, that's a custom. It's not 150th. Give me a second here. 150th. I'm seeing them at anywhere from $8.99 US to $9.99 US. Looks like the one with the Bigsby is about $1,000, and the other one's about $900. It's $100 less without the Bigsby. And that style of guitar, that's an interesting shape. It's one that I'm not terribly familiar with. I've never worked on one for sure. I may have seen one or two at guitar shops in my life. Cool guitar. Yeah, for that $800 to $900 and that style of guitar, boy. You know, well, that's an interesting. It almost looks like it's got many humbuckers in it, or maybe they're single coils. I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, very interesting. Hi, Zach. Welcome, brother. Haven't seen you since last night, right? That sounds weird. That's what she said, right? Let's see. Yeah, I wouldn't know what to suggest to you with an odd-shaped guitar. You know, it's almost, you know, like a very similar to like a Gibson Les Paul Jr. that would have two pickups in it. And you might be able to find a less, because it looks like the pickup configuration and control situation, while the layout is slightly different than a Les Paul Jr., you're probably going to get similar response out of the instrument. Boxing Day, yeah, Gibson mini humbuckers, yeah. I don't have much of an opinion of those. I've played a few guitars with the mini humbuckers and didn't really have any kind of feeling one way or the other. I think for me, when it comes to mini humbuckers, it's more of a psychological thing. They're smaller than a humbucker, and so obviously in my mind I'm thinking they can't sound as good, right? But Zach. So that's definitely a miss. I haven't played many guitars. I know I've played a few, or the Firebirds that had the mini humbuckers in them. And I played actually an old one that had the mini humbuckers in it. And that was a really great guitar, but it was also $8,000. And that one came in used at Guitar Center. You might look into a Gibson, and just to, I can't say that a guitar made in China is any worse than a guitar made in America. Because if you keep in mind that I've worked on how many guitars, and this one's made in Korea, and you just heard me play it, and you saw the knob fall off of it, and we bought it as a Christmas gift just because of the look, and I took that extra time, because I'm allowed that, to make this right for this young person. Sometimes, if you have a guitar that you purchase that you just are really in love with, and I don't even want to know where you bought it from. Don't tell me, because I'm not biased from the corporate guitar companies and online buying. I'm eliminated from being able to sell you Epiphone products, or Gibson products, or Ibanez products, or Fender products, simply because they're corporations and they sell to corporations. They don't sell to the best workforce, the best salesmen, and the most knowledgeable people in the world. Me. They won't allow me to sell those instruments because they charge me to bring that instrument into my shop the same price as they charge you to buy it on an internet website. So, that kind of sucks, and with respect to that, because you're not getting a knowledgeable staff in most cases at a large corporation guitar shop. And if you do get help from that guy, you're definitely going to pay for it. It was a red one, especially when you first started playing it. You had it set. Sometimes where I was going with that statement was, sometimes if you buy a guitar, an Epiphone or even a Fender that's made in Mexico, things like that, you love the way the guitar looks, you love the way it sounds, and it's just not set up right. Even though you may have wonky saddles and things like that, or maybe the saddle, the tailpiece is a little crooked. I mean, there are imperfections like that, and I'm being as kind as I can about that sort of thing. But I have, so you know, there are people in my community that buy brand new guitars all the time. Gibsons, Fenders, American-made Fenders, obviously American-made Gibsons, and before they ever touch them and play them, they bring them in. And I've had guitars come in here that are still in the box that guys paid $2-3 grand for, and they want me to set it up because I've done so much work for them that they trust me more than the guys at the Fender or the Gibson factory. And some of those I haven't had to do anything on, but some of them, the intonation was so bad, I'm like, God, they really shipped this like this? So also, there are things that can happen with environmental changes, like temperatures, humidity, stuff like that will drastically affect the way a guitar setup is. And I know I'm throwing a lot out there at you, but it may have been worth it, if you love the way the guitar looked and everything, to take it into a luthier or a tech that you trust. And you should, if you don't work on your own instruments, you can watch my channel and learn a lot about that, or you can find a guy in your local area that you can trust. And I will tell you this, small shops like this one, I can't make mistakes. I can't. I'm not Guitar Center. I'm not a number. I have a name, I have a reputation, and I also have time. Whereas those guys are under such great stress. If they fuck up your guitar, there's no consequences for that. So my advice is to find a small shop in your local area. If there isn't one, do a ton of research and learn to make those adjustments on your own. Because believe me, I bought brand new guitars in the past, and the first thing I had to do was set them up because they just weren't right for me. And everybody plays differently, so that's pretty sound advice, I think. With regard to having a problem with that instrument, you may have been better off, and it may have cost you $100 extra. Well, now you got a $1,200 guitar that's set up absolutely perfectly, and that extra $100 might have been well worth it. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. I'm not going to be able to be on here much longer because I've got to go see my ear doctor today. They're going to help me with some stuff because I can't hear shit. Right? I can't hear nothing. Okay, so this one is pretty much done. Oh, and I don't know if you saw that while I was meandering there, but I put a spring in the whammy bar hole, and now it stops and stays put, and it's not wobbly. So I do advise, if you have a Fender style whammy system like this is obviously not a Fender guitar, get yourself a bag of those springs from Fender that costs like $10 for a bag of them, and keep those around, because when you screw that bar in there, oftentimes it'll bottom out and then it'll stop, and then it's just whopping in the breeze. And I like mine to be, if I move it someplace like this one, I can move it here, and that's where it's going to stay. Now this bar is way too tall off of this guitar. I would shorten this a lot, but the way this is designed, I'm not going to go there with this one. I'd have to cut the threads off, rethread it, and all that. I'd love to have this down about halfway as far as it is. It's got all this extra length right here in the stem on that. So, but get yourself some springs and put a spring in there and tighten the bar down. Now remember, when you pull the bar out of there, the spring's going to fall out, right? If you tip the guitar upside down. So on this guitar, what I will do, the spring is in there, it looks good. I will take a small piece of blue tape and place it over that so that the spring doesn't come out. I don't want it to be that big. This kid's getting this for Christmas, and I will let Dad know that I've done this. Now what I'm also going to do is leave an edge of the tape sticking off so it can be easily pulled, but now the tape won't fall out of there, and you can't really leave the bar on it when you're moving it around. Let's see.
Yeah, these are the only good.
To be unscrewed from the body and action. Oh, I got you.
How are you guys?
Yeah, I understand that. Okay. Yeah, that sounds like a big problem. Did you just do an exchange? Did they swap you out for a new guitar? I'm curious. Let's see. I've got.
Meet Marshall, who taught Uncle Tristan.
Hello. How are you doing?
This is who taught Uncle Tristan to play the guitar. This is Tristan's nephew.
Oh my goodness. Hello there.
Hello.
All right.
So he can't.
All right. So
He, how long he's been in lessons for like 2 months now.
Okay.
Yeah, so we told him once he learns how to read all the notes and he gets the fundamentals,
Okay.
then we have to have you teach him how to really play.
Right. Okay. Now, with lessons, what you said? Read all the notes. Now, is he learning to read sheet music at this point, or tablature, or something like that? Can you know?
Sheet music, I guess.
Okay. Who's doing lessons?
Joyce Hope.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, probably teaching him to read music.
Yes.
Okay, that's fine. That's a good skill to know. I wish I was better at that, but most guitar players don't.
Yeah.
But he's going to get some techniques and some basic fundamental stuff.
Yes. Tristan is like, teach him chords, teach him the frets, teach him this, teach him that, and so it seems like it's going. We're we're getting there. It's slow. He's learning simple songs.
Okay, that's good. Yeah, as long, I mean, all of that stuff will, it's important to know. And, you know, the guitar players, when they get old enough to do it, if a guy can read sheet music, he could move to LA and get a job like that.
I don't think
That's-
he wants to be a musician at this point.
I get it.
Right?
You're 11? 12.
Almost
You're 10,
11.
almost guessed it.
Yeah.
I'm pretty good guessing. Yeah, and right now, is, you know, obviously that's not a thought really maybe in his mind, but if he turns 16 and he knows how to read sheet music and he gets good at it, I would highly encourage that, because there is a lot of money in that skill. Just so you know. Guitar players, boy, I'm going to try and be very safe with this number, but I would say one in maybe 10 to 20,000 can actually proficiently read music.
Tristan cannot read music.
Yeah, no, I
He
can't
just-
either. I mean, it'd take me a day to figure out one page it's not something I focused on. So
Yeah, but he just hears
Yeah,
it
yeah.
and he can play it.
yeah, and that's what you just described as ear training. Which from day one, you know, with Tristan, when you play a chord, listen to everything in that chord, everything.
Yeah.
There's a whole lot going on in that. It's not just, right? So listen to everything and train your ear to hear that stuff. That way when you hear a song on the radio that you want to play, when it starts off with that chord, you recognize it.
Yeah.
And, you know, rock and roll is what everybody wants to do, right?
Yes.
Right? Let me put this, so we got a broken string on that guy.
Yeah. He does, and he's getting to the point now where it's just a cheap beginner guitar.
Yeah.
But he's getting to the point now where like he just will like walk in and just start playing. So we want him to be able to play whenever he wants. We would like him to take after Uncle Tristan.
Okay.
But this has been great for him.
Okay.
So what age do you start teaching, Marshall? I didn't know if you did little.
I do have some time. Probably set something up on Tuesdays. You're in school right now, aren't you?
Yeah.
Okay. So we'd have to do afternoon or evening for him, I'm assuming. Let me think. I need to look at my calendar to make sure of what openings I've got. Tuesdays is kind of sporadic for me right now. I'm trying to get everybody into one time of the day because I got a lesson, then I can work on a guitar for 10 minutes, and I got another
Yeah.
one. It's kind of like that. So I'm trying to consolidate. But if you wanted to come in and do some lessons with me when he's reached his limit with Joyce,
Okay.
you know, Tuesdays at at 5:00 p.m.
Okay. Yeah,
Might be the
her
best.
she's great, but her style is very different.
Yeah. Well, and she teaches. She's a sweetheart.
She is.
She's. You know, I'm a rocker.
Yeah.
But I also have an education in music, so I'm not just a headbanger. I know what I'm doing, and I think that rubbed a little bit off on Tristan. I hope.
Oh, yeah.
But watching him do what he's doing now, I'm just astonished. I'm so proud of him. You know, I kind of have the cool factor, I guess, but it's still an education. And we do set goals like we did with Tristan. Okay, I want you to be able to do this next week. This is your goal for next week.
Yeah.
You know, and it's up to youngsters to sit down and play the thing, because I can't be there 5 days a week, 6 days a week.
I think he's got like 3 or 4 books now that he's required to do like all this homework.
Okay.
And so and that is good, but I don't want it to become like and I have to, so I'm not going to enjoy it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. No, I think that's interesting, because I'm almost polar opposite of that. I don't tell people to practice, I tell them to play. And I don't tell them to do homework. If you want to get the most out of what I've offered, it's your job to play at home. And literally, that's
Yeah.
the best thing you can do. You know, and I only say that because that was how I grew up.
Yeah.
You know, when I was your age, I got my first guitar when I was 10 years old, about your age, and it was my own real guitar, and I played that thing every day.
Did you?
Every day. I just fell in love with it. I was in love with it long before that, but I got that guitar, and it was the world changed, and it was
That's
like,
how
okay,
it was for Tristan.
and here I am
too.
today.
Yeah.
So, you know, but I'm a real rare case, I suppose. So not many people can make a living with guitars. So, however, this
How long
one.
do you need this?
What's that?
How long do we need to leave this?
It's going to be tomorrow. I'll have it ready for you tomorrow. Will that be okay?
Yeah.
Because I have to leave a little early today.
Yeah,
I'm getting my
that's
ears
totally
checked
fine.
again. I'll put a whole new set on here. We'll check the setup on it. It looks like it's in pretty good. Just looking at it right now, it looks like it's in pretty good shape. The string action. Do you feel like this guitar is pretty easy to play when you play it? You do? Okay. Yeah, I don't see a whole lot. I mean, this thing looks like it's really well set up. Did you guys? Where did this come from? Was it-
Amazon.
Okay. Yeah.
We just
Well-
we didn't know if he was gonna like it or not, so we just
Okay.
did like a kit
Yeah.
from Amazon.
Well, yeah. There's just. We'll put a new set of light gauge strings on this. These feel like they're 12 gauge, so they'll be a little bit lighter than this. So
Okay.
they'll, if you want to bend notes, like a. Right? We'll be able to do that a little easier. And I'm not a real big guy either, so I like light strings. So we'll do that. And put some oil on the fingerboard and get that all so it'll look real nice. And,
Okay.
you know, you won't notice anything aside from it'll be nice, bright new strings.
Okay.
And then when it comes to lessons, I'm not sure. Again, let me.
You look at your calendar and no rush. Like I said, we've got him in, you know,
Hey guys, I gotta get running. I gotta go to the ear doctor, and I got a young man here who needs some help with the stereo system. So thanks everybody for being here, and we'll see you on the next one. Peace.
Okay, I can't find it. So.
Oh, yeah,